hope you're all keeping well, guys. Yeah, 1-0 to PSG. We lost the game. What can I say? We lost the game 1-0 at the Emirates. It's only half time. We've got the second leg to come. Definitely PSG were the better team. Deserved to win. Not much more I can say about that. Very disappointing game, guys. I came to Zurich to watch it at the FIFA Sports Bar. And yeah, disappointing. Yeah, the best team won. I mean, there's not much more I can say about that. But yeah, we didn't really do much in the second half. There was a Martinelli chance, well saved by Donnarumma, but the team struggled throughout. We really need to improve. The second game is going to be difficult in Paris. I mean, it's going to be very tricky against them. They're a very skillful team, very fast, and there's not much we could really do about it tonight. They were well on top. Yeah, I imagine a lot of people are pretty annoyed right now with the result. It was frustrating, it was annoying. There's not much more to say about it than that. It was a very, very disappointing game. Not much more I can say about it than that, to be honest. I thought maybe we might actually win the game, but I had a feeling beforehand it was going to be difficult against them. I'd asked them to be far better than Real Madrid at the moment, and so it proved, unfortunately. And we battled hard, and we did our very best, but they had way too much in their locker for us, and they were so quick. Of course, the goal right at the beginning did not help. After 4 minutes, it was a bad start, but we could have recovered from losing the goal so early. Yeah? I mean, it was only after 4 minutes. There was a lot of football to be played, but PSG looked far quicker, far stronger, and more capable than us, and we just couldn't get back, and we couldn't fight back and stop them. They definitely looked a far better team than us. They always seem to have more going on. It was disappointing, I'm not going to lie. I mean, what can I say? But it's only half time. The second game is to come. Of course, it's one of those difficult games for us, especially after we beat Real Madrid. I mean, maybe you thought we were going to do something there, but very, very difficult. 13 people watching, guys. If you can smash the like for me, I'd appreciate it. Drop a comment in the comment section and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Not much more to say. Difficult one. We battled hard as much as we could, and we fought hard as much as we could, but they were the better team on the night. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we have to hold our hands up and say that they were the better team on the night. We battled as hard as we could, but they just had an answer to everything we did. And Donnarumma in goal was exceptional. Luis Enrique had the team well marshalled and well trained. They didn't give away any silly fouls. We were nervous at the beginning, of course, but at the Emirates against Real, we had two spectacular goals from Rice, set us on our way, and then the third from Mourinho. But this was a much better defensive performance from PSG than Real had put up, and we weren't the underdogs. There was added pressure, and you could see that the team felt that. We battled throughout, but we never kind of got going. Anything we did, Donnarumma had an answer to it. They defended well, and they really pressed in the forwards. I mean, they were using the width well. They played good on the wings, and they got their left back and their right back forward at every opportunity, and we just couldn't handle that. We just couldn't deal with it. There was no answer to that then, so it's hard to kind of say. But yeah, the pressure got on, the pressure was applied, and we just couldn't resist. They were definitely by far the better team. They deserved the win. Not much more to be said about it than that. Very disappointing watching it, I'm not going to lie. I mean, watching it was, it was bitter, a bitter pill to swallow. they had our number in this one. They had our number in this one. I mean, it was 1-0, but it was pretty comprehensive, and that's all they needed to do. They silenced the crowd, and we couldn't get back. We couldn't fight back against them. They just had too much for us. It just couldn't be done. It was too late in the day. Try as we might, it just couldn't be brought back. Like, we conceded 4 minutes in. Of course, there was a good chance we can get back and fight back into it, but we just didn't have an answer to their quality in the end. They just had too much in their locker for us, and it's unfortunate because it's a damaging loss. I mean, going to Paris now, it's going to be very difficult to overturn it. It's going to be very difficult to try to overturn it. Away goals don't count. It's only 1-0, but they were by far the better team. We never really kind of got at them. At the end of the first half, already we had a little maybe purple patch 10-minute period where we kind of stretched them. We got at them a little bit. At the end of the first half, I think maybe last 10 minutes, we kind of got to grips with them a little bit. But the second half, they just coasted. We had a goal disallowed, of course, right at the beginning of the second half. But they had everything under control. Now we just couldn't fight back. And that's basically the way the game went. I mean, it was frustrating for me watching it. I'm not going to lie. As was for many Arsenal fans. I couldn't wait for the game to end. I'm not going to lie. It was very disappointing. And it's only half time in the tie. But going to Paris, it's going to be difficult too against that team. They're a very, very good team. They showed it tonight. They got the goal they needed. 4 minutes in, they got the goal, and then they kind of shut up shop, and there was no coming back for us. Yeah, I thought, okay, we conceded at the start, but after 4 minutes, they had too much for us. They had too much for us, and we couldn't break them back. It's disappointing. It is what it is, guys, I suppose, but it's disappointing. You know what I mean? 1 second there, guys. Let me check my train connection. Well, yeah, that was disappointing. I suppose, like I said, there wasn't much more we could do about it. I imagine a lot of disappointed fans tonight. We got well and truly quiet in that game. They put the shackles on us, and we're going to break free. Not much more I can say really about that. They had us under the cosh, and we couldn't break free. Pressure was on, of course, from the very beginning. Not much more I can say about that. They had us under a lot of pressure. We just couldn't break through. And that's the way it ended. 1-0 to PSG. Second game to come. Goal after 4 minutes by Dembele. They danger man through it. They had a game plan now. They stuck to it. Disciplined defending. We couldn't break through. Yeah, they just made it hard for us. Yeah, big up Scott, man. Yeah, I wish I'd stayed at home, bro. I went to see it in a pub in Zurich in a sports bar, but honestly, you don't want to be talking about that after the game, you know what I mean? There was a little bit of kind of a Q&A at the end of the match there in the sports bar, but last thing I wanted to be doing was hanging around talking about it. I got to be up in 5 hours for work anyway, so I've got a 12-hour day ahead, and 8 of those hours are by myself. But yeah, big up to you, Scott, man. Smash the like for me, man, if you can. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, I was disappointed, man. I mean, we never kind of got going. It was frustrating to watch, and the goal at the start of the second half kind of falls up, and then it was disallowed. Everything kind of went, well, I wouldn't say everything went against us. Yeah, they were better than us. And Arteta, like a lot of people have been saying for a long time, there's no plan B. And we just couldn't come back from that. Alright, Damon, what's going on, man? What's going on? Sloppy balls. Yeah. I mean, conceding at the very start was the problem, man. I mean, 4 minutes in, the very last thing you would want to do is concede like that, and that's exactly what we did. And we let them into the game. Obviously, after 4 minutes, you're not too concerned, yeah. Disappointing, of course, to concede, but you're not too concerned. But there was no way to fight back. I mean, 4 minutes in, you're not too concerned. Disappointing, but there's plenty of time. hope you just gonna get back. Just won a cup final with my football team. I'm happy for you, man. Delighted for you, bro. Congratulations, At least you did better than Arsenal anyway. You fared better than Arsenal. But yeah, that was disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully better things are to come for us, yeah, but that was diabolical. We're better than that, you know what I mean? But here's hoping we can turn things around and we can get back into it. Yeah, it was frustrating to watch. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was frustrating to watch, and we just never got going, and we couldn't fight our way back. And we had enough time, and we could have maybe carved open a couple of chances. We did carve open a few, but they were always in control. The second half, they were very comfortable. Like I said, I wasn't too concerned with conceding up the first goal. I mean, so early, but like, we had enough time to fight back. But I don't know. I mean, no plan B has been levelled at Arteta, and that was definitely the case. Odegaard, Ballerina, yeah, there seemed to be no kind of fire in them. I mean, against Real, we had a lot of fire. We played with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. And in this game, it was like the complete opposite. Obviously, we were the underdogs in the Real game. I mean, maybe the pressure was off. Now the pressure was on. But they made it very difficult for us. It was very difficult to break them down. They're strong on us. Very good defensively, incredible pace, very quick defenders. And they're faster than us. They're faster and better. I mean, I said at halftime we need to play quicker, and we just couldn't do that. We tried, but we're too predictable with our tactics. Our main weapon was Saka, and once or twice he almost wriggled free, but they had him under the cosh. They had him in the corner, he couldn't get out. And we suffered there, we struggled throughout, which was really, really disappointing. I mean, the best team won, there's no doubt about that. You can't say anything against that. The best team won. We can't complain. But disappointing, no doubt. I couldn't wait for the game to end. I couldn't wait for the final whistle. Just want to get over there and go. That was very disappointing. Not much more to say about it than that. It's only half time in the leg, but it's going to be only half time in the tie, but it's going to be difficult going to PSG, trying to get something out of the game. That is not going to be easy. So we have to see what happens, but that is going to be difficult for us against them. It's going to be tricky. There's no doubt about it. I'm just hoping we can break through, but they're going to make it difficult for us in Paris. They're in the ascendancy. They're at home. Good result for them. Champions League semi-finals are always difficult. Semi-finals are always difficult, but you'd expect more from the team. More quality, more skill, but we fell short by a long way. Yeah, it just wasn't meant to be, I suppose, on the night. But definitely the best team won. Second leg is going to be tricky, guys. Arteta's going to have to really put his head down and think about things the best way that we can get into this game. Hopefully do something against PSG. Arteta's going to have to really come up with something, because that wasn't good enough tonight. Different game in Paris. Hopefully we can stretch them. But yeah, I said before the game on my preview earlier, guys, that it was going to be not going to be one for the faint-hearted, and that's how it turned out. Evolved as far as we could. We had everything we had, but they just had that edge on us, and we couldn't shake it off. That's really how the game ended. We did our best. We tried as hard as we could, but they had too much in their locker for us anyway. There's hoping we can fight back and do something in the second leg. It's not going to be easy, like I said. It's not going to be straightforward. They have the edge on us. They stretched us throughout. and we never kind of got going. And they were defensively strong, resilient, and extremely quick. I mean, they're a fast team, and their passing in the second half was unreal. We just couldn't get near the ball. They were passing the ball all over the place, and we just couldn't get near it. And that was basically that. They passed the ball everywhere. I mean, their passing in the second half was just incredible. And we didn't really see much of the ball, and they kept the pressure off themselves, and they just passed, and we kind of gave up. You know what I mean? And we rallied a little bit. At the end of the first half, and there was definite pressure was asserted on them now. But after that, we just wilted completely, and we let them do pretty much what they wanted in the second half. There was no fight, nothing really going on. And we struggled badly. We struggled badly against them. And that's the way it ended up. That's what happened to us in the end. We lost our nerve and we fell to pieces. And that was it. They had all the possession, and they really just passed us to dead in that second half. And they took the sting out of our play completely. And we just couldn't handle it. And they were far too good for us. So what can I say? It is what it is. We battled hard. We tried to do what we could. But yeah, it is what it is. There's no more to say, but not more to say than that. We had a tough time. We had a tough time against them. There's not much more to say than that. Here's hoping we can bounce back and maybe get something out of the second match in Paris, but it's going to be very, very difficult against that team. They had everything under control. We fought as hard as we could, but there wasn't much to be said. A lot of Arsenal fans quiet at the moment, I'd imagine. I mean, normally the stream would be buzzing, but of course they're disappointed. It was extremely disappointing. And I just couldn't wait for the final whistle and get out of the bar. I just didn't want to be around. There was no PSG fans kind of rubbing our noses in or anything like that, but it was just the manner of it. I just didn't want to be around. So I fucked off home. I gotta be up anyway in a couple of hours of work, and I got a hell of a long day ahead of me, so you know, I just had to do what I had to do and just get out of there. But disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. But hopefully we can bounce back. We can bounce back. I really hope we can. The second game is going to be difficult. The second leg in Paris. It's only 1-0, but we're kind of lucky that it was only 1-0. They gave us a bit of a footballing lesson, I think it's fair to say. And we'll have to fight another day. But the second leg is going to be tricky. It couldn't get much worse in my opinion.
Next stop, Zurich Airport.
I just hope that we can really do ourselves proud in the second leg and really put up a fight, and do our very best against them. They're a difficult team, they're a dangerous team. They could have won by more. They passed us today in the second half, and we had no kind of response to the onslaught. And their passing was just incredible in that second half. There was movement all over the place. And we really were left. Yeah, we kind of ran out of ideas in the end, and we ran out of energy. And they looked the more energetic team, to be honest. But we didn't test them in the second half. I mean, they were sitting pretty. We didn't test them. We didn't put the pressure on. And that was the problem, I think. There was no pressure applied. And they just walked through and pretty much did what they wanted. And we didn't have an answer to that. We just couldn't respond. And they showed us up. And we struggled badly. It's only half time, guys. The second leg is to come, but they're in the ascendancy. They were the better team tonight by far. The pressure was on us. Had time. The threat was there. They showed how dangerous they are, but we had time to get back into it. But it just never happened. We had 86 minutes to get ourselves back into it. We got a goal at the start of the second half from a set piece ahead of from Mourinho, but was ruled out for offside, and rightly so. But they were far better than us on the night, far better than us on the night, and we just couldn't fight back. They had us under the crash, and we couldn't do anything about it. As much as we wanted to, we just couldn't do anything about it. So we struggled a bit. But we have a second game coming up. Second leg is going to be interesting. But they were definitely in control in that game. The second half we couldn't kind of get going. They had way more ball possession. No, we were struggling to fight. We couldn't get out. And that's exactly the way the game went. We fought as hard as we could. We tried to get something out of the game, but we just couldn't. And they were stronger than us, so they were better than us in many aspects. And we found no answer, no way back. Alright, I'm going to wrap up the stream there, guys. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and yeah, take it easy, guys.